Good morning, it's Loren Lockman from the Tanglewood Wellness Center in Costa Rica. And I've been asked a question to address something today which comes up a lot. And it's come up a lot in the more than 23 years that I've been eating a raw vegan diet. A lot of people have said to me something like, I feel alienated when I eat this way. Okay? It's a common perception or a common experience for people to have this feeling of alienation or belief that they're alienated from others. And it's so important that I wanted to be sure we addressed it today with the time we need to cover this, because obviously it can make it very difficult for someone to continue doing something, even if they know it's what's best for them, if they really feel like they're all alone in the world. Now, I think, frankly, it's a little easier today, or maybe a lot easier today than it used to be, right? Because 23 years ago when I went raw, I didn't have Facebook or even email to have people around the world supporting me. I was literally on my own and didn't know a single other person who was doing what I was doing. But you know, it's interesting because even then, I did not feel alienated. Why not? What was going on for me? Now, I've mentioned this to you, I think, last night, but maybe briefly and in passing, and I want to explore it in much more detail. And it's a very simple idea. And the idea is that every single human being has much more in common with each other than we have that's different from each other. Okay? Every person. When we study nonviolent communication, which I taught for 10 years, we study nonviolent communication, we look at needs, right? What needs are or are not being met. And what's true about needs is that needs are common for all human beings. All human beings have the same needs. Anything that is exclusive to you, for instance, you might say, I need to be with my boyfriend. Okay? That's not a need. That's a strategy to get a need met. We all have social needs. Needs never involve a specific person. So you can't say, well, only I have that need. No, that's not a need. That's a strategy. You see what I'm saying? That's a way to get a social need met. The fact is that it doesn't have to be a particular person. And in fact, we've all had relationships end, and we find somebody else who can help us meet our needs. So there are many people who could meet any need, any social need for you. So needs are common among all humans. I would suggest that most desires are common among all humans. Okay? I mean, just look at these two things. We all need the same things. We need shelter and food and air and water and love and companionship and etc. Okay? We all want respect and love and etc. These things we all have in common. Now, we have differences too, right? Because you're 190 centimeters and she's 120. Okay, 150. Someone is 150 kilos and somebody else is 50. Okay? Some people have you have very fair skin. Naomi had skin the color of your shirt. Okay? You know, these are things that are different. But think about them in comparison to our needs and desires, to what makes us human. These things are completely unimportant. They're surface level things. They have no real bearing on who we are. Okay? This is what we look like. Now, how about what we eat? Does that really separate us from other people? Well, it can, but only if we believe that it does. Many people feel as you do. They feel alienated because they eat differently than other people, and other people don't understand their diet. Okay? But here's what I've noticed, and I've said this before, you may have heard me say this on video. People are like dogs. in one significant way at least, maybe more, right? When does a dog attack somebody? When the dog is scared or when the person is scared? Dogs smell fear. Okay? So if they feel threatened and they smell fear, they attack. Now if the dog is scared, but you aren't afraid and you can get in its face, dogs will back down. You may not want to try to stare down a Doberman, but that may not end very well for you. But that's what happens with dogs. They'll often back down, not necessarily from a human, because most humans probably can't actually do that. And dogs can smell fear, so if you're pretending to do something and the dog can smell the fear, you might be in trouble. But humans smell fear too. So, first of all, if people are actually attacking you for your choices, that's probably happening because of your lack of confidence about your choices. No one attacks me for my choices. It doesn't happen. And even if someone, asks me some questions or gets in my face, I don't care. Like, they can believe whatever they want. I'm like, that's fine. You believe that. You're not going to get enough protein that way. I'm like, okay. Well, that's your belief. I'm doing pretty well. I understand it. I might even say, if I don't want to be confrontational, I might say, I used to believe the same thing. But I sure feel amazing. Sometimes I'll play with them. I'm only trying it. I don't really know. Oh, how long have you been doing it? 23 years. Seems to work pretty well. Okay. So the bottom line is, if people are actually messing with you, then you may just want to become more confident about what you're doing. But honestly, it doesn't have to be an alienating thing. It doesn't have to. It's no different than saying, I like yoga and you lift weights. Well, then we can't be friends. I can't be friends with a weightlifter. That's messed up. Everyone should do yoga. Yoga is much better for you than lifting weights. Okay? I actually believe that. I believe yoga is better than lifting weights. You're less likely to hurt yourself. It's more natural, etc., etc. Does that mean I can't be friends with a weightlifter? Of course not. Can I be friends with people that still eat animal products or eat cooked food? Of course I can. Of course I can. Most of the people that I love most in the world, my family, not one of them is a vegetarian. I don't love them any less. Why should I? And I have no trouble understanding why they make the choices they make, because I used to eat everything too. I didn't know any better. Now, how can they not know better when I've been doing what I've been doing all this time? People are incredibly astute at being in denial. They believe what they want to believe. They don't want to change. And so it becomes hard for them to actually look at the information. But it doesn't mean that you can't be with them. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand completely the desire to have people around you that actually get you. I understand that. But, again, I have you guys, clients around me, and sometimes I have volunteers here, and soon my girlfriend will be here with me. That'll be awesome. But most of the time, over the last 19 years, when I haven't had a girlfriend living with me, I've been here physically isolated from other people who understand me, and it's perfectly okay. My local friends, they're like, that's cool. I don't want to do it, but it seems to be working for you, right? They don't really understand it. But what's different today than it was 23 years ago is we can support each other long distance very easily through all the venues we have. We can stay in touch. We can have that support. We don't have to, be out of touch with people. Before we had telephone calls, maybe it takes longer, maybe it's, I don't know. We don't even have to get on the phone today. We can do it all through Facebook or email or many other places. Text messaging, right? We have all these ways of supporting each other and staying in touch, and that's great. And we can still eventually create places where people can come together. Temporarily, as happens with festivals and retreats and things like that, and permanently, as happens with communities. There are communities springing up. They've always existed. Not so many for raw vegans in the past, but there will be more and more of them. This is something I think a lot of people desire. And if you're sitting here and you desire this and it's not happening, let's say that you want to live in Scandinavia and there isn't a raw vegan community in Scandinavia. There could be. You could create it, right? I mean, we are capable of creating anything we choose to create. So, what I want you to understand, and I think what's most important, is that feelings of alienation are based on incorrect beliefs that you're alone. You're never alone. We're all connected. Okay? I promise you, I can't always respond as quickly as I'd like to, but I am a click away from you. If you need some support, just email me. Okay, hit me up on Facebook. I'll be there for you if I can be. Okay? Now you're going to want to create friends all around the world, as well as wherever you live, that can also be there for you, who may have more time than I do. So, but there's no reason we can't create that support, mutual support. You might even want to, if you don't already have one, get a buddy, right? Have a person. Like when you really feel like you need that support, you have an agreement with them. Hey man, when I'm really having a tough time, can I get you on the phone, or can I get you on a Skype call, or will you respond to my emails? Like when it's an emergency, I'm really going to need that support. Can I count on you to be there for me? And make an agreement with someone to do that. Okay? That can be really powerful. Now eventually what happens is you get to a place where that may not be so necessary. There's a successful model that this comes from. It's like giving up drugs or alcohol. Right? Alcoholics Anonymous. You have a buddy that you call. You have somebody, if you need, I'm tempted to go have a drink. You call somebody. Same thing here. I got a bag of chips in my hand. Talk me down. Okay? I'm about to do something I shouldn't do with a cookie. Can you help me? All right? You can create those kinds of relationships to support each other. Ultimately, you'll get to the place where you probably won't need that. But as long as you need it, you can have it. All right? So I think these are some of the most important pieces around this feeling of alienation. You want to be really, really clear you are not alone. There are people who care about you and people who will support you, and you might have to ask for it. I mean, obviously it'd be easier living in a place where everybody did the same thing. As you guys know, we still haven't made the time to talk about this yet, but my intention is to create that environment, to create a community where there are no stoves, there are no ovens, there are no grills, there's no cooking. That doesn't mean someone can't leave and go eat cooked food. We can't police what people do, but we can make it much easier to support living a lifestyle, not just because there's no cooking, but because everyone is there because they want to live that way and we'll support each other. And because we'll have an amazing abundance of incredible fresh food, better than anything you could get anywhere else. So, obviously, moving towards communal living, it makes sense for me. I've been fine without support, but I'd still rather have people around me who get me. Okay? But know you can succeed. Again, get clear, what are you committed to? Now the truth is, as you grow and develop yourself in any area, as you become more conscious, as you become more spiritual, you will probably find that most of the people around you won't get you. That's okay. What do you really want to do? You want to be a beacon of light for other people, don't you? Isn't that what you said? You want to be a model for other people. You want to show people what's possible. Well, that means that you can't go back and do what other people are going to be comfortable with. You need to be willing to be outside of your comfort zone. Live your truth in the face of what other people think. Don't worry about it. Who cares? Okay? Ultimately, it doesn't matter. People come and go. The people who don't understand you will eventually find their way out of your life. You don't even have to show them the door. They'll find it eventually. Okay? In the meantime, people who resonate with who you're being, as long as you're actually living it and not trying to hide it because it feels strange to other people, if you're living your truth, people will be magnetically attracted to you. Those people who resonate with that will find you. Okay? It may take a while. It's not going to be instantaneous, but it will happen. You'll create that if you want it. All right? Any questions about any of that? Is that helpful to you? Anybody have any questions around this? Okay. What do you guys think about before leaving here, if you haven't already done this? Make an agreement with somebody here. Okay, or it could be an agreement with somebody else at home, a friend somewhere else. Have that buddy. Have that person you can go to. Okay? And I'm just thinking out loud. I haven't really thought this through, but for some of you, it might be useful to not have that be your partner, because they may have a different level of commitment than you have. So when the chips are down, they may not actually, they may have reasons that they don't really want to fully support you. Okay? Find someone who's completely committed because they don't have any attachment to what you do. They just want to support you in doing what you've chosen for yourself. Ultimately, in fact, if that's not your partner, let me encourage you to find a partner who can offer you that, who's willing to completely be a stand for you creating what you choose for yourself, even if they don't agree with it. That's what you really want in your life. Okay? I hope that helps. I'll see you next time.